Hello, welcome to your practice today. My name is Brianna, and today's practice will be facilitated in a chair. This practice might be useful for you if you're at work or somewhere else where you're sitting in a chair at a desk. Feel free to practice by listening, watching, following along, or just moving your body or being still in any way that feels accessible and useful for you. It's your body, your practice. So to begin today's practice, you might choose to kind of just notice where your body is in space. So maybe you choose to look down at where your body is making contact with the surface beneath you. If the chair has a back to it, maybe pushing your back into the chair, possibly noticing any sensation that occurs or that changes if you choose to push your back into the chair. So maybe looking at where your body is making contact with the surface beneath you, possibly pushing your back into the back of the chair. Another option could be bringing some movement into your feet. One way you might choose to bring movement into your feet could be pressing your feet into the floor. So maybe pressing your feet into the floor, possibly choosing to lift your heels, either together or one at a time. So maybe lifting your heels, possibly having your toes still contact the ground. So maybe if this is your heel, lifting it up, possibly setting it back down. Maybe lifting and lowering together or alternating, it's your choice. And from here, you might choose to lift your toes. So maybe lifting your toes together or one at a time. So again, if this is your foot, maybe keeping your heel contacted on the ground, possibly lifting up the front of your foot or your toes. Maybe lifting and lowering if you're choosing to do that for 3, maybe 2, perhaps 1. And maybe moving up from there, you might choose to bring some movement into your legs. One way you could do that might be lifting the whole foot, so lifting your whole foot off the ground and maybe lowering it back down. You might choose to do this on one side, lifting and holding. Another option can be staying on one side, lifting and lowering. So possibly lifting and holding one leg, hovering your foot off the ground if you choose, and lowering. Maybe going at a pace of lifting and lowering that feels right for you. And if you'd like, you might switch to the other side, possibly choosing to lift and hold the other leg, hovering your foot off the ground, or lifting and lowering at a pace that feels right for you. And sort of a blanket offering, kind of a general reminder that there's always an option to move in some other way or to stay in stillness. And from here, you might choose to alternate. So possibly lifting one leg and lowering, and then the other. Lifting and lowering in alternation if you choose to. Possibly exploring this movement for 3, maybe 2, and possibly 1. And if you'd like from here, an option to lift both legs at the same time. If you'd like, if you have a back on your chair, you might give yourself some space between your back and the back of the chair. And that way you could kind of lean a bit. So maybe leaning a bit. And from here, if you want, you could choose to lift one leg, maybe a little higher than before if you'd like, and possibly lift the other leg. Ugh, my body's not going to do that today. So from here, you could alternate or lift both legs. Let's try it again. Ugh, not today. So maybe just lifting and lowering one at a time. Maybe being reclined a bit. And if you're choosing to lift and lower one leg at a time or both, you might notice sensation in the middle of your body. So maybe lifting both legs and holding, or lifting and lowering both legs, or alternating lifting and lowering for 3, maybe 2, possibly 1. And from here you could choose to do a forward fold. So maybe with your legs bent, your knees bent, possibly with your legs straight or your knees straight, you might choose to hinge at your hips, possibly bringing your torso closer to your legs. The range at which you go forward is up to you. It's your choice. And if you're choosing to engage in this forward fold, you might notice sensation in your back. And if you'd like, if you are in this forward fold, you could choose to add a little breath. So maybe adding some breath into your inhale or your exhale, if that feels interesting to you. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, you might place your hands on your legs, possibly pushing yourself up out of that forward fold. And if you had brought your back away from the back of your chair, if you have a back of your chair, you could choose to scoot back again, having the back of your chair make contact so you can rest a little bit. All right, so from here, you might choose to bring some movement into your arms. One way you could choose to do this is possibly by bringing your hands to your shoulders and maybe moving your elbows in a circular motion. Another possibility for bringing movement into your shoulders might be having your arms extended and maybe making circles with your arms. And with either option, you might notice that the range and the speed at which you move is up to you. Possibly drawing large circles with your arms or your elbows. Maybe choosing to go smaller. And if you were choosing to go one direction, you might switch directions if you'd like. Totally able to choose staying one direction if that is what you want to do today. So maybe moving your shoulders in circles for 3, maybe 2, possibly 1. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, maybe relaxing or bringing your arms back down to your side. And from here, possibly bringing a twist into your practice today. So one way you might do that could be by bringing one hand around the back of your body. Maybe it touches the chair. Maybe it reaches behind you. And if you'd like, allowing your torso to follow that arm. So maybe bringing your torso toward the wall on that side of your body. And if you're choosing to engage in this twist, you might notice that where you look is your choice. So possibly continuing to look forward, maybe looking toward the side of where your torso's pointing, possibly looking behind you. And if you're choosing to engage in this twist, maybe noticing that you're breathing. So if you'd like, as you're choosing to twist, you might notice that you're breathing. Maybe noticing or twisting for 3, maybe 2, possibly for 1. And in your own time, maybe bringing that arm back to the front of your body, allowing your torso to move with it, to face forward. And it's up to you if you'd like to practice that on the other side. And so if you'd like to, maybe taking the opposite arm than you used before, possibly bringing it around toward behind you, maybe touching your chair, maybe placing it on the seat behind your back, maybe allowing your torso to follow, possibly pointing your torso toward the wall at whatever side you're twisting toward. And if you'd like, possibly choosing where your head is pointed, maybe toward the front, possibly the side, maybe behind you. You might notice where you choose to look on this side is different than the side before if you chose to do both sides. And it doesn't have to be the same. Maybe noticing your breath in this twist. And if you'd like, you could choose to continue twisting for 3, maybe 2, possibly 1. In your own time, whenever you're ready, maybe unwinding your body, bringing everything maybe pointing toward the front. And from here, you could bring some more movement if you were choosing to bring your gaze in a certain direction with that last form. Maybe bringing more movement into your neck. And one way you could do this might be to bring one ear toward the shoulder on that same side. You'll notice that the distance at which you bring your ear toward your shoulder is up to you. And if you're choosing to bring movement into your neck in this way, you might notice sensation in your neck, possibly on the opposite side of where you're leaning your head toward. And if you'd like, you might try that form on the other side if you choose. Maybe noticing some sensation in your neck or anywhere else in your body, or none at all. From here, possibly bringing a different type of movement into your neck, maybe by choosing to lower your chin toward your upper body. And if you're choosing to lower your chin toward your upper body, you might notice sensation in your neck or your back or somewhere else. And from here, there's also an option, and feel free to, stay in any of those options or doing anything else that you'd like with your body. Another option could be to combine those, so possibly lowering one ear toward your shoulder, maybe dropping your chin toward your upper body, possibly scooping your other ear toward the opposite shoulder. And maybe you could choose to bring movement here. So maybe moving between the three. Possibly noticing that the pace is up to you. Maybe moving for 3, possibly 2, perhaps for 1. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, you might choose to lift your head back up to a center where your vision is looking forward if you'd like. And from here, maybe transitioning out of your practice with a bit of stillness, or rest. A rest doesn't have to be stillness. So whatever feels more restful for you, whether that's choosing to move in some way that we moved today or in a way that maybe we didn't move today, or stillness. And we can have maybe 30 seconds of this stillness today. And in that 30 seconds, I won't be talking, so feel free to find some sort of form that feels more restful to you. You're welcome to keep your eyes open or closed, that's up to you. And when that 30 seconds is up, I'll go ahead and enter my voice back into your practice to help transition into the rest of your day. So I'll be keeping a rough estimate of this 30-second time. And then whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and start that 30 seconds now. Maybe bringing yourself back into this space if you had your eyes open or closed. One way you could begin to re-engage is maybe by wiggling your fingers or your toes. And feel free to stay in this restful form if you have time, even after the practice is over. If you were laying down or if you were in a comfortable form and you have to get back out into the world and into life, maybe bring yourself more upright. So this brings us to the end of your practice today. Maybe acknowledge anything that came up for you. Everything is welcome. Everything is okay, no matter what it was that came up. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.